Yehezqėl, Ezekiel chapter 36. And you, son of man, prophesy to the mountains of Israel, and you shall say, O mountains of Israel, hear the word of Yah. Thus said the Master Yah, because the enemy has said of you, Aha, the heights of old have become our possession. Therefore prophesy, and you shall say, Thus said the Master Yah, because they laid you waste and swallowed you up on every side, so that you became the possession of the rest of the nations, and you are taken up by the lips of talkers and slandered by the people. Therefore, O mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Master Yah. Thus said the Master Yah to the mountains and to the hills, to the rivers and to the valleys, and to the deserted ruins, and to the cities that have been forsaken, which became a prey and a mocking to the rest of the nations all around. Therefore thus said the Master Yah, have I not spoken in my burning jealousy against the rest of the nations, and against all Edom, who gave my land to themselves as a possession, with all joy of heart, with scorn in their being, to drive it out for a prey? Therefore prophesy concerning the land of Israel, and you shall say to mountains, and to hills, to rivers, and to valleys, Thus said the Master Yah, See, I have spoken in my jealousy and my wrath, because you have borne the shame of the nations. Therefore, thus said the Master Yah, I have lifted my hand in an oath that the nations that are around you shall bear their own shame. But you, O mountains of Israel, put forth your branches and bear your fruit to my people Israel, for they are about to come. For look, I am for you, and I shall turn to you, and you shall be tilled and sown, and I shall increase men upon you, all the house of Israel, all of it. And the seas shall be inhabited, and the ruins rebuilt. And I shall increase upon you man and beast, and they shall increase and bear young. And I shall make you inhabited as of old, and do better for you than your beginnings. And you shall know that I am Yah. And I shall let men, my people Yisrael, walk upon you, and let them possess you, and you shall be their inheritance, and no longer let you add to their bereavement. Thus said the Master Yah, because they say to you, You devour men, and have bereaved your nation, therefore you shall no longer devour men, and no longer bereave your nation, declares the Master Yah. And no longer shall I let you hear the insults of the nations, and the reproach of the peoples you should bear no more, and no longer cause your nations to stumble, declares the Master Yah. And the word of Yah came to me, saying, Son of man, when the house of Israel dwelt in their own land, they defiled it by their own ways and deeds. To me their way was like the uncleanness of a woman in her monthly period. So I poured out my wrath on them for the blood they had shed on the land, and for their idols they defiled it. And I scattered them among the nations, and they were dispersed throughout the lands. I have judged them according to their ways and their deeds. And when they came to the nations, wherever they went, they profaned my set-apart name, for it was said of them, These are the people of Yah, and yet they have gone out of his land. But I had compassion on my set-apart name, which the house of Israel had profaned among the nations wherever they went. Therefore say to the house of Israel, Thus said the Master Yah, I do not do this for your sake, O house of Israel, but for my set-apart name's sake, which you have profaned among the nations wherever you went. And I shall set apart my great name, which has been profaned among the nations, which you have profaned in their midst, and the nations shall know that I am Yah, declares the Master Yah. When I am set apart in you before their eyes, and I shall take you from among the nations, and I shall gather you out of all lands, and I shall bring you into your own land, and I shall sprinkle clean water on you, and you shall be clean. From all your filthiness and from all your idols I cleanse you. And I shall give you a new heart, and put a new spirit within you. And I shall take the heart of stone out of your flesh, and I shall give you a heart of flesh, and put my spirit within you. And I shall cause you to walk in my laws, and guard my right rulings, and shall do them. And you shall dwell in the land that I give to your fathers, and you shall be my people, and I shall be your Elohim. And I shall save you from all your uncleannesses, And I shall call you for the grain and increase it, and it shall bring no scarcity of food upon you. And I shall increase the fruit of your trees and the increase of your fields, so that you need never again bear the reproach of scarcity of food among the nations. And you shall remember your evil ways and your deeds that were not good, and you shall loathe yourselves in your own eyes for your crookednesses and your abominations. Not for your sake am I acting, declares the Master Yah. Let it be known to you. Be ashamed and blush for your ways, O house of Yisrael. Thus said the Master Yah, on the day that I cleanse you from all your crookednesses, I shall cause the cities to be inhabited, and the ruined places shall be rebuilt, and the land that was laid waste tilled instead of being a ruin before the eyes of all who pass by. And they shall say, this land that was laid waste has become like the Garden of Eden, and the wasted, the deserted, and the destroyed cities are now walled and inhabited. Then the nations which are left all around you shall know that I, Yah, have rebuilt the destroyed places and planted what was laid waste. I, Yah, have spoken it, and I shall do it. Thus said the Master Yah, once again I shall let the house of Israel inquire of me to do for them. I shall increase their men like a flock, as a set-apart flock, as the flock at Yerushalayim, at her appointed times, so shall the wasted cities be filled with flocks of men, and they shall know that I am Yah.